Hey, what's up guys? Petzergling here along with my man Daz, and we are bringing you the 3 set of Group G of the round of 32 MSL. This is Canata versus Nata. Both of these players pretty much dominated their first round opponents, and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see both of these players moving out of their group no problem. But the first player who's going to get out of the winners match does have a slight advantage, because a player who gets out of the winners match plays somebody who gets out in the finals match in the round of 16. So although both of these players are most likely going to make it out of their group, I think it definitely still is important to both of these guys to win here. This still isn't a throwaway game, so I think we're going to see a pretty exciting game here on Neo Harmony.
Yeah, I agree, man. Especially these two guys are both pretty solid TBT players. I mean, Nata being just an overall a really good player. It's always a question as to what his form is currently, but I mean, he's still got the potential to win Star League, so you can never count him out. And Canata is showing that he's got a great TBT in the last game. So we're going to have to pause for syncing here. 2, 1, 0, and the game has started. So I'm pretty excited to see this game. Both guys good TBT players. And Neo Harmony, pretty solid map here. Okay, we got Nata as red, and Canata is purple at the top right. So actually, that's now Canata is yellow at the top right. Yeah, the commentator's changing the color. Just for you guys who don't know, maybe who don't follow the Korean scene so much, the commentators will frequently ally one of the players and then use Shift-Tab to change the colors, just to make it easier to keep track of who is who if they maybe have similar colors. And that's why you see the colors have changed now. Nata is in the bottom right in red, and Canata is in the top right in yellow. And that's why they do it all the time, just to kind of make it easier to keep track of who's who.
Yeah, so Neo Harmony, I mean, we almost always see a real heavy macro game on this map. You know, although you can build in the middle, and once again, this can be a cheese map, I mean, both of these players, I don't think they really want to win enough to cheese. So, I mean, we're going to see some standard games, and we're probably going to see some long macro games, because the gases are just really far spread out. I mean, when your opponent takes a third gas, there's not much else you can do to that besides take a third gas of your own, because you don't really have the dropships that early on. So, Nata, usually known to go into dropships really fast. He likes to, you know, sure, he can go play heavy ground forces more early on, but the big really determining factor in how a player plays TBT is how early they go to dropships. And so I guess Nata might be the aggressor here in this match. And it looks like Canata is moving out, making a forward barracks in the middle of the map, so he's probably not going to build any Marines, and we're probably going to see a pretty early command center here from Canata.
Yeah.
And Nata once again doing his really early scout here, so not to say that he really thinks he's the favorite, but he definitely wants to play comfortable in all these matchups. And we saw in the first game that he actually early scouted right into Wraiths. So now that he sees his opponent, he might actually want to go for a really aggressive build here, just like he did last time. Or
I hope so.
Could just be a random occurrence, yeah.
I like to see that. I think it makes the game more exciting. I just want to add something that you didn't mention from, again, people who may be less experienced. The purpose behind that barracks that Canata is building, he's building it out there because he wants to float it to the enemy's base. He doesn't really need any Marines because it's TBT, so he's just going to build that, you know, in a decent position so that he's kind of closer to all possible bases, so he can float that over and see what Nata is up to. Oh, he's actually building a Marine here. He's going to build one Marine with that, just I guess to keep Nata's SCV out of his base, but it's in vain because I think Nata's SCV has already left his base. Okay. And the Marine's just going to go back, probably going to block the ramp and not let the SCV back in. So that actually kind of works out pretty well for Canata. I don't know what the barracks is doing just dancing around. He should probably have figured out that Nata is scouted him from the bottom, so he should be floating that down in that direction. Yeah, he's got his SCV down in Nata's base, so he knows to float it the right way. Both players starting off so far. Nata looks like he has only one SCV on gas, so he's going to be doing some kind of quick CC build, probably a Vulture Expand, which I think is pretty strong on this map. I'm not that good on my TBT build orders, but you know, when it's a 4-player map and the bases are this far apart, I have to imagine that Vulture Expand is probably easily the strongest build.
Yeah, both players are going for the really early CC. I'm actually kind of surprised that Nata actually got his CC out faster, because Nata scouted earlier than Canata did, and therefore Canata's refinery and barracks was up just slightly faster. But Nata actually was able to get his CC out, you know, a little bit faster. I'm not sure if he
But Canata actually had to send
obviously,
this SCV out at the same time to build that barracks as quickly as he did. So
oh, that is
that's
true.
probably
I
where the
actually
difference
didn't.
is.
No, I
Yeah,
didn't keep
so.
that in mind. So yeah, so not to say he's really ahead. Well, I like that how Nada has that SCV behind that mineral line, and I'm not sure if Kanata's conscious of that or not. But Kanata built that CC in his main base, so I think Kanata was fearing a little bit of aggression here. Even though he saw that Nada only had one SCV on gas, he still opted to keep his command center in his main base to lift it off. So Nada's going to take a slight economic advantage, but here comes Kanata moving in with 2 vultures, and he's going to pick off the SCV on the command center. So that definitely equalizes that. Yeah.
So that's why his command center is out later, because he built 2 vultures before the command center. So that's why he's a little delayed. But that's definitely going to equalize it right here. Can't let that vulture die. That's going to be too much of a blow.
Yeah, Canata doing a great job of just delaying Nada's stuff. I mean, there's really no SCVs near his natural expansion where he can move forward and get that. Yeah,
definitely. So, that was really well done.
Canata finally losing that SCV. But yeah, Canata definitely, I don't know if I would... Well, I'm really surprised that Kanata's actually building an SCV in his command center there.
Oh, wow, I guess 3 factories?
He might be trying to play some mind games there on Nada a little bit, building an SCV in his main base, not showing Nada that he went for an expansion build similar to Nada's. I guess Canata might try and do something, he may try and get a 3rd base really fast, or he may try and play a little bit sneaky, but... Canata, I think, got the economic advantage there, and he was, even just because they went for the same build orders, but 4 factories.
He's got to go for a
really,
4
really early.
Doing something. Canata being really sneaky. Yeah, I think the reason he built that up there, like you mentioned earlier, was because then all of a sudden Nada's not sure what he's doing. Nada has to kind of be ready for a 2-fac or a port kind of build, because he doesn't know that the guy is expanding. So he doesn't know that, Canata might be doing whatever. He might be doing any kind of all-in build. And now, Canata, keeping up with the level of trickery, he's expanding but also going 4-fac right away. So this might catch Nada off guard. We're going to have to wait and see what happens. I don't think Nada's expecting a super aggressive 4-fac build on this map, seeing how the bases are quite a bit far apart and you got a lot of terrain to go through to get to your enemy. So this might catch him off guard here. I'm not really too sure about the specifics, but like how easy is it to overpower a Terran's natural? Like if he goes 4-fac, is this doable? Can he do some damage with this?
Yeah, well the thing is with a 4-factory build, at first it may seem, you can go either way with a 4-factory build, but the way it looks like, just for defense, I mean he's building primarily vultures. He's getting, he's only has 1 machine shop and he's only getting vulture upgrades. So he's playing really low econ, just making sure he can constantly produce SCVs. I don't think either player is taking the refinery at their natural expansion. So both just building up a mass of vultures. And, it's not too easy to overtake a Terran just because you have the barracks in their base. So if an opponent really can't just build that many more factories than you, because right away. And you see Nada already, he started off with 3 factories, but now putting down his 4th. So definitely catching up. I don't really think Kanata's going to be able to do too much damage, but at the very least, because he went for that 4-factory build, I think he might be able to get some map control. And it looks like, yeah, he's moving out now, so let's see if he's going to be able to do any damage. He doesn't have mines, but he has speed. I guess he really doesn't need mines because Nada's only vultures. And another thing to point out is there's that little entrance in the natural expansion, so he could try and sneak vultures by there and get some SCVs too.
Yeah, he probably is doing this just to get map control. I would say that's probably the best play here. I mean, if he can secure map control, he can try to get his 3rd gas up really quickly and maybe go 2 starport dropships. Or that's pretty strong in TVT, if I recall correctly. 2 starport dropships, or maybe even pumping some rates out of that shit. I don't really know. Okay, Nada's got a tank up, so I really don't think Kanata's going to be able to do any actual damage. He seems to be content just to camp out there and keep Nada from roving around the map. Although maybe no one told him that there's actually an extra entrance that Nada could slip vultures out of and still patrol the map. So it kind of almost makes it pointless to contain here, but he's still doing it. Okay, now he's got some vultures out there camped outside the small entrance. No, he's moving them down to the normal entrance. Also worth noting is that Canata still has a barracks in Nada's base, so he can see exactly what Nada is doing. However, Nada does not have any scouting of Kanata's base. Okay, they're both moving out. It's going to be a big battle. Looks like Canata has a lot more vultures, but those two tanks are definitely going to wreak havoc. It looks like Canata's winning this battle, but I think it's going to be pretty close. I don't think he's going to win overwhelmingly enough to really do much damage to him. That tank